to be true becomes your reality. I'm going to repeat that again. What you believe to be true becomes your reality. I have met so many people in life who are so committed to staying stuck where they're at. They're committed to it. And they'll complain and whine and moan about their situation. But does it have to be that? Two people can experience the same trauma, the same circumstance that might be negative. One comes out incredibly successful through it. The other one is just beat down by it and defeated and stays down all the time. What's the difference between the two people? Both experience the same situation. It's the mindset. You should write this down. Develop the capacity to bounce, not splatter. Because we're all gonna get dropped. Something's gonna happen. The floor's gonna fall out. We're gonna go down. The question is, are you going to stay down? You're going to splatter and stay down, or are you going to bounce back up as quick as possible? Doesn't mean it's going to be immediate, because we're going to talk about farming here in a minute. But we are going to be able to bounce back up. We realize I'm going to get dropped. Sometimes it's going to be 2 steps forward. 2 steps backwards, and then I'm going to have to learn how to get 3 steps forward. But I got to believe it's possible to get 3 steps forward. Because if you don't believe it's possible, it'll never happen. Henry Ford was the one credited for saying, whether you believe you can or believe you can't, you're right. But I'll tell you what, no matter how cliche-ish these things are, the older you get, the more you realize they are absolutely true. Be a parent, you'll know. When you watch your children say something, words become self-fulfilling prophecies in people's lives. I had a daughter, still have a daughter. And she used to say to me, Dad, I'm just terrible at math. I'm just no good at math. I'm autistic. And I'm like, So let me ask you a question. If I put $1 million in a bank in your name and said it's released to you when you graduate from high school if you can maintain an A average in math from this point forward, could you do it? Yeah. So it's not whether you're capable or not, it's whether you want to or not. Too many people are speaking really negative stuff into their lives. Let me give you a common one. How many of you have ever said this? Man, I'm terrible at remembering names. I'm just no good at math. Oh, I'm just not an organized person. Whatever you say to be true about yourself over and over again reinforces a pattern of behavior of thinking. I want you to think about this. A computer runs on programming, correct?
Yes.
It has an operating system, and there's the programs you put into the operating system, yes?
Yes.
All right, so the operating system is formed from early on in life, from a combination of your genetics and your environment growing up. And this is where people have the problem, because people come in and they go, come to my seminar and learn new programs. I'm going to throw new programs at you, and you're putting it on a hard drive that's corrupt. And no matter what you put on that hard drive that's corrupt, you have corrupt programs. The programs just don't work right because the hard drive is corrupt. That's why personal development is so important, right? It's important that we learn to navigate and start looking at where the patterns of behavior, the programming is corrupt, and learn how to create more powerful, empowering programs to change the game. When we were at the meeting that I met you at, what was the gentleman who was running the meeting? Steve was talking about, hey, we're going to learn how to set goals. And one of the things I said to him, here's one thing I really observed, because I have watched goal setting now for 58 years. I probably only remember about 48 of those, because I don't remember talking about goals when I was 10 years old. In fact, I probably remember about from 20 on about setting goals. So goals are really important. We know that you got to figure out what you want, write it down, be willing to pay the price necessary to get it, pay the price up front and full, and you got to have faith. And those are 4 keys to success. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so if we understand that, then we need to be able to shift and say, okay, how do I get from setting the goal, because remember I said here's where most people lose the game, to be willing to pay the price necessary to get it. We've got to work on the program. We've got to work on the hard drive. And if we change the hard drive, we create a new empowering hard drive. We get an upgrade. Then we can put programs in there, goals, strategies, tactics, tools. Now we have a functioning system. But unless you address the hard drive, you're not going to get the changes you need. Most people will never move from being interested in those goals to being committed to those goals. And how do we know when we're committed? When you wake up every day,
no matter whether you want to or not.
right, you're going to do what you need to do whether you feel like it or not. Because how many of us realize feelings drive a lot of our lives?
Yeah.
We operate about feelings all the time. And I believe that men in general think that they are logical creatures. I make my decisions logically. Women know they don't have 20 pair of shoes or different color outfits, or they know it's emotional about how I feel. Women get it. Men just deny it. You didn't buy that car that you probably shouldn't have bought because you needed that car. You are going to make the decision logically. You're going to make the decision emotionally, justify it logically. It's the reality. We process stuff through an area of our brain that tells us how we feel about it, and then that causes us to make the decision, and we reinforce the decision at the logical centers of our brains. I'll show you the whole system in just a little bit.